This morning, me, Hayden, and Steven link up at Harts Cut for a quick trek. Steven back after 6 weeks, so ya know the energy was up. We start off early, with the sun barely breaking through the trees. The trail leading up to the old radio tower was steep, but that wasn't no issue for us. Legs was pumping and spirits high. Hayden, as usual, cool and steady, just moving like he born for this. Steven was hyped, chatting about how much he missed these hills. The climb test we lungs, but when we hit the top, it was pure bliss. After catching, we breathe at the radio tower. We head down the other side of the hill. The trail was a little rough in parts, but nothing we couldn't handle. Steven was in his zone, picking up where he left off, and Hayden, well, he just moving like water as usual. As we make our way down, the trees open up to this perfect vantage point. From there, we had a clear view of the mainland, and just beyond, the 5 islands spread out on the water. The sunlight was hitting the sea just right, making everything sparkle like it come out a postcard. We just stand there for a minute, no talking, just taking in the beauty of the scene. Seeing those islands reminds you how small we are in the grand scheme of things, but how big these moments feel. Another reminder why we always come back to these trails. After soaking in the view of the 5 islands, we press on, making our way down to the cave. Now this cave, I done hear plenty stories about it, but seeing it again in person always does give me a little chill. As soon as we reached the entrance, the cool air hit us. But it wasn't just that. Ya could hear the faint flutter of wings echoing inside. Bats, plenty of them. We step inside, torch lights out, and immediately spot the bats hanging from the roof, shuffling around as we disturb their space. Roaches too, crawling all over the walls, scurrying away when the light hit them. Steven was keeping his distance, clearly not too fond of the creepy crawlies, while Hayden, of course, was unfazed, just observing everything calm as ever. There was some other weird creatures too, insects I never see before, moving quick in the shadows. The whole place had this eerie feeling, like it was alive. But we didn't stick around too long. The cave had enough surprises, and we had more ground to cover. Still, it was one of those spots you don't forget. After the cave, we pushed forward to the final stop, the old shipwreck. When we reached, the site of that rusting hull, half buried in the earth, was something else. The ship looked like it'd been there forever, vines and moss growing all over, but still holding its shape. The sea breeze was strong here, adding to the whole atmosphere, like the wreck was telling its own story. We walk around, touching the old iron, trying to imagine what this ship was like back in its prime. After a while, we knew it was time to head back. The trail back to Harts Cut was smoother now, legs moving easy after the day's adventure. When we finally reached back where we started, the sun was higher, and we was feeling satisfied. Another one for the books, a solid hike with good company.